So you want to play Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadowdark, or some other tabletop role-playing game, but you don't have other people to play with. You can play it by yourself, and here's how to do it. The concept of playing any of these games is like if you've ever seen someone play chess by themselves. That's the idea. When someone plays chess by themselves, they sit down on one side and they play how they would play, and then they sit down on the other side and they look at that and how would I react as a player. And that's kind of the idea of playing any of these games by yourself. First, you need to pick an adventure. A pre-made adventure is best because that way there's some element of surprise as you play along. There are lots of places you can get pre-made adventures from each of these. I'll put down in the gobbledygook at the bottom here some links of where you can find some pre-made adventures for all these different games. When I was a kid and dinosaurs roamed the earth, I didn't have a lot of people to play with either for starting out, and so we would turn to pre-made adventures that we could go and buy called modules. Modules looked like this. Here's an example of one. This is the one I bought as a kid. Been sitting in my library all these years, and this is a good example of what these modules look like. Now, modules could be used to play with other people as well normally, but some of these were actually for solo, and they actually made solo ones. They still make solo ones today, and I'll put that down in the gobbledygook too, some links of some solo ones you can buy. You can also buy this one on Drive-Thru-RPG. So this is an example of what those look like. What's really cool about them is that they have a nice little map inside they can pull out, and that's something that makes it kind of nice to use, so you can kind of follow along as you go, and then also has the adventure as it works through. And this would have been for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. This one was copyright, I think, 1984. So that was obviously not 5th edition. The good news is there are people who have put together 5th edition rules for a lot of these old modules, but also we've created new ones today. Pre-made Adventures has everything you need to know along the way, and it really tries its best to not give away any surprises. Once you've got your adventure and you've decided which one you want to do, then next you need to create a character. Depending on what system you're using, whether it be Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadowdark, there are different methods that they use to create characters. What's really great is there are online character generators. I'll leave some links down in the description below, and you can click through those. These character generators are really great for walking you through how to actually create the character. So one of the challenges sometimes with a new system, maybe if you haven't played this system or know it very well, you won't know all of the particulars of creating a character. They're really good about walking you through. Some of them have apps that you can put on your phone. It looks really great on your phone to work with. Some of them, obviously, D&D Beyond, which is free, and you can create a lot of things through there with the free version of it, as well as Demiplane Nexus, which is great for Pathfinder and many other systems on there. They're really great about walking you through, and you have it nice and handy right there on your phone. You can track things later on during the game right there on your phone, so that's really super handy. Or if you like, you just print off what you've created and you have a hard copy of it. Next, you need to set up the adventure. So setup would be basically if you have a map, you're laying out any map. If you got any figures you want to use to track where you're at on the map, use those. Get together some dice. If you've got some role-playing dice, which you can get these. If you don't have role-playing dice, you can get them almost anywhere. I've seen them even in the dollar store. I've seen them at Walmart. And your local game store, always the best option. Just fair warning, when you go in there, you're going to see a lot of dice and you're going to want to buy a lot. I'll have some links in the description where you can get some dice, including a giant bag of dice if you want to start your dice collection the easy way. Next, it helps to have a basic understanding of the rules. When it comes to the rules, a lot of these rules are available online for free to a point. So for example, Dungeons & Dragons has what's called the SRD, which has a lot of the rules and stuff you find in the book are available online for free. It's really enough to get started in playing the game. So that might be helpful as far as helping explain some things, especially when you get into conditions like what does blinded mean, what does grapple mean, and those kind of things. I'll have a link in the description to the SRD and any other free content for any of the other systems I find. You're also going to know things like what to do about saving throws, what to do when you do these. So if it says something in the text about, do a saving throw, if you don't know how to do that, you kind of need to know those things. So you can go there for reference. Next, it's time to just start playing. And as you read through any NPCs that you run across, you're going to control those NPCs. So it's really a matter of role playing to the max. You are playing the role of the dungeon master, you're playing the role of the character you created, and you're creating the role of the NPCs that you run across. In each situation, just put yourself in those shoes and say, what would my character do in this particular situation? what would this NPC do in this situation? Often in the notes, it'll kind of give you some background, some motivation of each NPC, so that helps you in that role playing. And that's how you basically work through any of the NPCs. You manage any encounters that it runs across, and you resolve any combat. And combat is one of those things where you're going to have to maybe check the online content or the book system, whatever you're using, to kind of resolve how combat works and things like that. And you need a way to track the progress. So whether that may be a way that you move it around on the map so you can kind of see where you've been, take notes, and that's not a bad option because you may not be able to go through this, all of this content in one sitting. So you take notes about where you're at and where you've been. Will be helpful when you pick up again. And the last thing is just enjoy the experience. It's not the same as playing with other people. It's very different, but in reality, I think it makes you a better player because you are role playing as a dungeon master. You get some experience seeing how a dungeon master sees things. You get the experience of role playing NPCs as well as role playing a character, which is what most players just really have a lot of opportunity to do. It just kind of makes you more of a well-rounded player. For more information on creating a character, watch this video here. For more information on finding a group to play with, watch this video right here. And if you want more homebrew content to 10x the game around your table, then be sure to subscribe. Class dismissed.